I'm not sure if any player in 2020 was affected more by the fact that there was no preseason games than Isaiah Simmons. He certainly was affected a lot by it, I think. I think if he had more reps, you would have seen some better play out of him. And even so, it's interesting. So let's talk about what happened, what went wrong, especially in the beginning, and some of the good as well, and I think the main thing he needs to work on. So we'll start off with this play, because this play was the main bad Isaiah Simmons play. It's going to be a man coverage play. This is in week 1. He didn't get a ton of snaps early on in the season, or later in the season for that matter, but he didn't get a ton of snaps. This was his worst one, quite frankly. He's going to be covering the halfback. I've circled him on the screen. Watch what's going to happen here. Right when this play starts, you notice how he kind of moves in, and honestly, I think his biggest issue is he just overcommits, and he goes too far in one direction, and the reality is, he ran a sub 4.4 40-yard dash, so for a linebacker, that's crazy fast. Again, that's why some people thought he would be a safety. I mean, that's a fast safety, so quite frankly, that's a fast corner, so it's really good speed. But the issue is, in the NFL, you got to be a little bit more smart, and you do have to make sure that you put yourself in position where you can take advantage of that speed. It's okay if you lose 1 step because you can get that back, but you can't lose 4 steps, and he put himself in that kind of position far too many times. And as you see, I mean, look, he just got way too beat right there. It was the footwork that got him out of position, and just really the mindset of overcommitting, and that's something that's certainly going to be a through line in this video. A big thing he has to learn is just how to approach these different NFL players, knowing exactly how much space you have to give them, because again, in college, he didn't have to give anybody any space because he was quick enough to get away with it. Now he might have to give people just a little bit of space. You can't get that far out of position. Guys just cut quicker in the NFL. Now let's move over to week 7. So week 7, we kind of really saw him basically not even be in the lineup. He was a little bit, but he only played 5 snaps in this game, and it seemed like injury was the only reason why he was in the game at all, because he started playing in overtime. So again, he only had 376 snaps all year, so he was struggling to get some playing time, especially early on. He did get more later in the season, but even then, I mean, last 2 games of the season, he had 46 snaps combined. So he was not an every down player in really any game except for, 1 or maybe 2, because he had 45 snaps the second Seattle game. But I'm bringing all that up to show that this play was, I think, really important for Isaiah Simmons, even if just for a confidence thing, because the play itself is kind of lucky. I mean, you see the route on the screen, sort of a route over the middle, and you see the situation of what it looks like for Russell Wilson. This looks like man coverage of some kind, like a cover 0 heavy blitz. That's what they're showing here, at least. And so Wilson is going to just simply flip it out to a player who appears to not have anybody covering him, or really what probably is the case is that the deep safety is going to be the guy who's covering him, but there's a lot of space there. So Wilson expecting a cover 0. It is not cover 0, though. That's going to be the issue. It's a cover 3 zone. In fact, they're even being a little bit more creative of how they're doing this, because one corner who looks like he's playing man is going to be blitzing Wilson, and 4 players who look as though they're blitzing are going to all drop back into coverage. So very clever concept, and you know where Wilson is throwing it to. Well, that happens to be the zone that Simmons is going to drop back into. And watch, as you see, Wilson, just kind of a bad decision, but, good awareness play by Isaiah Simmons. Is it the most talented play you'll ever see? Not really. It was more of a good scheme thing than anything else, but he did his job well, got rewarded, and got a little lucky with the throw from Wilson. And you know what? That's totally fine. Take advantage of those situations and use it as a confidence booster. Remember, this was an overtime interception that basically won the Cardinals this football game. So that's a huge play and a great way to get a young kid some confidence. I would say that he did all sort of the physical run stopping / pass rushing duties of a linebacker pretty well. There's some inconsistencies here and there. Seemed like most of the inconsistencies were just him not really being used to a traditional linebacker type role, just because, in Clemson, he was such a Swiss Army knife type of guy. But like this play, for example, basically the tight end is going to be the guy who's going to pick up Simmons on this play, but watch how you see Simmons. He's going to run in, and he does a great job of using his footwork to get past that block, and he, did disrupt that play from Josh Allen. Allen still made the play, but it was still, I think, a good job of getting that initial pressure. Again, Allen, very good at getting around pressure. That's what he does, but a good job by Simmons, I would say. And then there's something like this, where this is going to be now a running play. And again, I think people look at the idea of like, oh, well, he's kind of a, is he a safety or is he a linebacker? Well, that must mean that he is, not very good at the run game. Maybe that's an issue. But like, no, I mean, he's fine. Like, his size is fine for a linebacker. It's 238 and he's 6'4". So the size itself is good. He just happens to also have elite speed, which is why he could play both. But anyways, he's going to be going up against the right guard on this play, and watch how he's going to attack this. Like, as you see, so, okay, guard moves up. It's a one-on-one matchup, and what Simmons is going to do a good job of, I feel like, again, it's the footwork. He has really impressive footwork. As you see, he gets to the outside, and he's able to get past the guard, and he's actually able to help make that tackle. So, again, really good stuff from Isaiah Simmons. I'm not saying, there was a bit of some consistency issues for sure, but that's fine. I'm not going to freak out about a little bit of inconsistency. I just want to know if you can do it. We'll work on the consistency your second year. First year, I just want to make sure that you have talent, and he clearly does. And like on this one, he did show flashes of good coverage at times. Like, again, the coverage was awful in the first few weeks, and even statistically, his coverage was just like not good at all. If you're a stats guy, it's not pretty. I mean, a passer rating of 121.9 against, that's very much not good. Although a big part of that was just he gave up 5 touchdowns, which that affects it. Only 1 interception. That's going to make the passer rating worse. The yards itself, 239 yards, which is still not very good, given that, he only played 376 snaps. But that's a lot more, manageable, although still not great. And I mean, really, you take out that one, 77-yard reception that I showed you earlier on, it is a lot better. But anyways, let's show this play, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it is man coverage. Watch what happens. Right when this play starts, so Isaiah Simmons, he kind of gets turned around a little bit, and at this point, you could argue, okay, he's lost a step, right? Again, player gets a little by him, but Simmons is fine in this position. When it's not a route where he's going to get way out of position, he's fine, because again, he has 4.4 speed, and he's a pretty aware guy. And he's physical, so he can match up well with really any tight end. I don't think there's a single tight end who can beat him with talent. You have to beat him by outsmarting him, which unfortunately in his rookie season has been pretty easy to do. Allen tries it, and Patrick Peterson actually makes a great play. It was a very clever concept by the Cardinals. We don't have to get into all that, but I think that shows, like, okay, no, the talent is absolutely there. The issue is just kind of something like this. It's overcommitting. And what's going to happen on this play is he's covering the halfback, and watch how he goes about this. So right when this play starts, I mean, you see that, okay, Simmons, he's done a great job, right? There's no separation. But I think kind of one of the issues is that you don't need to make there be no separation right here. You can give up a little bit. It's a first down and 10. Maybe just stay like a step further back, but, take a glance at the quarterback. Look at the tight end. Be ready for if he makes a move, or excuse me, the halfback. Be ready when he makes a move. You can make a move back and adjust to it. Also, I just went back and checked. It is a tight end, not a halfback. I am stupid. Never mind. But anyways, it's just a little bit too close, and the issue is that you can get beat a little bit. Like, watch. As you see, he gets cut, gets beat a little bit. There was a little bit of separation, and I really do mean a little bit. I wasn't trying to say that this is a horrible example. But this play, to me, shows a microcosm of something that has been a bigger issue, especially, with a couple of big plays, is he overcommits just a little bit, and then that can create something big. So even on this play, it might not be that big of a deal. You could argue it's actually the right decision just because you are so close to the line of scrimmage that even if you give up a little bit of separation, you just make a quick tackle, you're fine. But I think the bigger concern is that when you don't just give up a little bit of separation, you give up, again, giving up 1 step, perfect. That's the most you want to give up, because he can make that back, maybe even 2 steps. You can't give up 4 steps, and that's what he's done by getting himself out of position, by trying to play so tight all the time when he's fast enough that he doesn't have to. He needs to learn some angles, and honestly, the best way to do that will be practice, and it will be preseason. Him getting a preseason, I think it'll do wonders for him, get him some snaps, because as I said, he didn't get a ton of playing time. He didn't get a ton of playing time against the best talent. He only had about 376 snaps. That's not a ton of snaps. Only 206 were coverage snaps. So he only was able to cover someone 200 times all of last year in a game. Get some preseason, and you can probably get him to have close to that many snaps. Okay, maybe not quite that many, but you can get him to have a couple hundred snaps total into preseason, which I think would be smart. They'll probably just give him like 100 to 150 snaps, depending on how much they want to work him. But I'm totally of the belief of put him into preseason, have him play a lot, get him ready, and I think that will do wonders. So I think there's still plenty to be excited about with Simmons. Not exactly what we were hoping for, but also kind of understandable, and I do think that he'll improve a lot. I would bet on Simmons succeeding. I really would. That's what I think. So, hey, a positive end to the video. Sometimes I get a little bit negative. I like to be positive, but, I try to be fair, so usually there's a mixed review at the end of this. This was just mostly positive. I think Simmons will be good. I think, at least. Maybe people think I'm being negative by saying there's a chance he'll be bad, but I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me about Isaiah Simmons? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.